didn't slam the door, you didn't yell or fight. You just slowly stepped away and turned off all the light. You didn't say you'll miss me or leave with a big scene. You just vanished from the spaces where your silence used to lean. And I kept waiting for the day, but peace came strange and slow. You didn't break my heart, you just taught it how to grow. You taught me how to be alone without feeling like a loss. You taught me quiet isn't cruel, it's just space, not a cross. You left and left me standing, but somehow still made me strong. You taught me how to be alone, and that's where I belong. I still cook for two sometimes out of muscle memory, but I light just one candle and pour just one cup of tea. You weren't the kind to linger, but you still shaped all my walls. Now I rest without expecting footsteps in the hall, and maybe that's the lesson I didn't know I'd need. To love without depending, to feel without the bleed. You taught me how to be alone, like a teacher, soft and slow. Not with pain, but with release, and room enough to grow. I still see you in my shadow, but I walk this light unknown. You taught me how to be alone, and now I've made it home. You taught me how to listen without needing to reply, how to hold someone's silence like a sky without goodbye. You showed me I was worthy even when I broke apart, and how healing isn't perfect, but it always has a start. We didn't last forever, but I carry what you gave. You were my final chapter, but you helped me misbehave. You taught me something more than just your name. You helped me see my patterns and stop playing my same games. I'm better for the loving, even if it couldn't stay. You gave me something golden that I carry to this day. You never asked for credit, and I never said it clear, but I learned how to be softer while you whispered near my ear. I write with your intention, even when you're far away. And though we don't still speak now, I think of you some days. You weren't my happy ending, but you changed my ending pace, and I walk a little straighter since I left your I didn't tell you I was hurting, you just sat with me in quiet. Made some tea and lit a candle, turned the chaos into diet. You never pushed for answers or asked me to explain. You just passed the blanket over while I wrestled with the rain. You never needed details or a full emotional map. You just offered softer lighting and your coat upon my lap. You never asked, you just stayed, and somehow that was more than all the friends who vanished when I crumbled to the floor. You didn't need the story to know the role to play. You showed up like the sunrise. You never asked, you just stayed. You cleaned around the silence without needing to be thanked. Played our favorite records while my heart just slowly sank. Some call that codependent, but I call it love with grace. You never forced a lesson, just gave me breathing space. You weren't loud with comfort, you just existed near. And sometimes that's the strongest form of love that we can hear. You never asked, you just stayed like a porch light in the fog. And even when I wandered, you still walked me like a dog. No checklist, no condition, just steady in your way. I'll always thank the silence where you never asked, just stay. You never asked, you just stayed, and somehow that was more than all the friends who vanished when I crumbled to the floor. You didn't need the story to know the role to play. You showed up like the sunrise. You never asked, you just stayed. Go. I saw your face online today, framed in light I used to chase. You looked like you were healing in someone else's space. I didn't cry, just paused a bit, like a song I used to know. It's strange to see you shining in a garden I won't grow. You're laughing like the world's okay, and I don't blame you for the light. But I still feel the echo of the way we said goodnight. You're smiling in a picture I'm not in, and you look good, I won't pretend. Your new love wears your jacket like I used to back when. I'm happy that you're blooming, but I ache in my own skin. You're smiling in a picture that doesn't let me in. You stood beside a city we dreamed we'd move to first. Now it's filled with other memories, and I'm stuck with what hurts. I wonder if you told them all the stories that were mine, like the way you used to count the stars. You'd vent your daily heartbreak, and I'd patch it up with care. But you never asked my weather or noticed I wasn't there. You said you loved my spirit, but not the depth I hide. And when I needed holding, you stood off to the side. You thought I'd always be there because I never made a sound. But love without reflection will always let you drown. You never really saw me, not the fire or the fight, just a silhouette that waited for your version of the night. I don't need your attention, I just needed you to stay. But you never really saw me, so I faded all the way. You never really saw me, just the shape I used to fit, the calm inside your chaos, the light you didn't admit. I gave you all my colors, but you only marked the gray. You never really saw me, and now I've walked away. You didn't promise anything, but somehow gave me light. Taught me how to breathe again without a need to fight. You spoke like Sunday mornings, moved like open skies, and in your brief reflection I forgot how to disguise. You never asked me questions, you just let the silence stay. And in that quiet comfort I found myself halfway. You gave me peace, but not a place to stay. You were the breeze that blew my storm away. I wanted more but couldn't ask. You were never mine to claim. You gave I used to see a kitchen with your mug beside the sink, a garden in the backyard where we'd talk and overthink. I pictured Sunday morning with your record spinning low, a cat we both would name wrong and nowhere else to go. But time has a strange hunger and plans become decay. What once felt like forever now just quietly fades away. I watched our future dissolving like ink inside a stream. You stopped saying when we're older. I stopped holding the dream. Now I pass that thrift store window where you pointed one day. You and all that once felt certain just slipped into the blue. I still use the tea you liked and turn the lamp you chose, but each day it all feels hollow, like props in a worn out show. You said life moves in circles, but this one never turned. I gave you all my tomorrows, you gave me bridges burned. We didn't need a breakdown, just silence in its place. The dream we co-created now drifts without a trace. I watched our future dissolving like mist across the glass. No final word, no thunder, just a slowly closing past. Now I hold a faded forecast where your name used to be. I loved you in a vision that no longer included me. I saw your name on paper in a tag I didn't expect. You're out there planting gardens while I'm stuck in old regret. You posted new beginnings with a hand that's not my own, and I wonder if you miss me or if I'm just overgrown. You didn't break the silence, you just learned how not to call. And while I kept our story, you wrote another after all. You moved on without me, like a season skips a leaf, and I'm still here remembering while you're wrapped up in belief. You didn't leave me cruelly, you just never looked to see that I was still holding pages while you moved on without me. You always had a future that you wore with gentle pride, and maybe I slowed your momentum with the weight I tried to hide. Now you're smiling in your pictures like the world just fits again, and I'm glad for all your joy, but I still remember when we talked about forever like it was ours to claim. But time chose something different, and we stopped saying each other's name. You moved on without me, not out of spite or wrong. used to feel lighter when I walked into your space, like I could drop my armor and finally show my face. Your walls were full of pictures of a life that felt like mine, and in the hush between us I felt a perfect line. But houses aren't forever, and people move away, and even hearts with anchor ropes can drift from where they stay. You were my safe place, but now you're just a name, a street I can't walk down without feeling some kind of blame. I still dream of your doorway, the way it whispered grace, but now it's just a memory. You were my safe place. You never locked me out, not even once or twice, but I stopped knocking slowly when silence became your vice. I left a coat inside your room, still hanging on that hook, and every part of me remains between your books. You didn't mean to break it, but something cracked inside when the comfort we created no longer tried to hide. You were my safe place, my shelter in the storm, a cup of quiet tea when nothing else felt warm. Now I pass your building like a stranger in your grace, and whisper thanks, not anger. You were my safe place. You were my safe place, but now you're just a name, a street I can't walk down without feeling some kind of blame. I still dream of your doorway, the way it whispered grace, but now it's just a memory. You were my safe place. The bakery still smells like cinnamon, the corner lamp still flickers. I pass that same cracked sidewalk and my heart just beats quicker. The cafe still plays vinyl and the bus still takes too long, but something in this street still sings you like a song. I know you're miles away now, probably don't think of this turn, but I walk here out of habit just to feel what doesn't burn. That street still feels like you, like autumn in your voice, like mornings with no makeup and laughter with no choice. I know the world kept turning, but this stretch of like you. I sat beneath the oak tree where you read to me in June, and the breeze still tastes like memory even under this new moon. I know you're not returning, and this isn't meant to mend, but sometimes pavement carries what the heart won't let transcend. I don't bring flowers anymore, just walk with hands in coat, letting ghosts of conversations fill the air like fading notes. That street still feels like you, like the scent you always wore, like the way you held my elbow when we passed the grocery store. This town forgets its stories, but this corner still holds to the past I can't rewrite, and the street that still feels like you. No matter how I try, that street still feels like you. You laugh like I remember, but it's not meant for me. You smile through someone else's lens like I'm just scenery. You wear that jacket still, the one we fought about, but now it fits with her beside you, where I've been written out. You pass me on the sidewalk like I'm just another name, but I still see the versions you left inside the frame. You're someone else's now, but I still trace the lines of the way you used to hold me, like the world was something kind. I don't wanna steal your silence, I just wish I knew how to stop remembering you're someone else's now. She holds your hand like I did, but steadier it seems. You look at her like morning, not like some fading dream. I whisper to the shadows of all we used to be, but echoes never answer when they've learned to set you free. You didn't do it cruelly, you didn't slam the door, you just shifted in the silence until I wasn't yours. You're someone else's now, and I hope you found your peace. I still love you in the corners where the noise begins to cease. Maybe love was never promised, maybe this is just the vow. I won't forget you're someone else's now. watched a movie, the one we never finished. You laughed like nothing changed, and the years just slowly diminished. You reached for my hand like it was always yours, and I forgot the reasons we walked through different doors. But then I woke alone with nothing in my hand, and your voice just slipped away like water through the sand. You keep showing up in dreams where the clocks don't ever tick, where our past feels like a present and our futures never stick. You dance like nothing ended, but I know what it means. I've moved on by daylight, but you live inside my dreams. Sometimes you say you're sorry, other nights you just appear in a sweater I remember from our second year. I ask if you still miss me, you always change the scene, but your smile says the answer that never made it clean. They say dreams hold our secrets that our hearts won't say out loud, and I guess my mind still holds you even when I'm not allowed. You keep showing up in dreams like a rerun I can't skip, like a melody that lingers even when I lose the grip. I don't chase you when I'm waking, but at night it still redeems. You're gone in all my stories except the ones in dreams. You keep showing up in dreams where the clocks don't ever tick, where our past feels like a present and our futures never stick. You dance like nothing ended, but I know what it means. I've moved on by daylight, but you live inside my dreams. You talked about your weekend. I nodded like a friend, but every word you didn't say felt like the quiet end. I laughed at all your timing and cried when no one saw. I kept your voice in notebooks with every fatal flaw. You didn't do it on purpose, but you left me in between the maybe and not really of something never seen. You never knew what you meant to me, and maybe that's my fault. I held my love like lightning, afraid of the result. You smiled like I was background while you were my marquee. You never knew what you meant to me, and now you'll never see. I carried all your stories like letters in my coat, and tried not to imagine the things I never wrote. You asked about my silence, but never stayed for more, and I loved you like a whisper pressed beneath the door. Some love stay unspoken, while I was just your star. You never knew what you meant to me. You danced in every song. I played it cool and clever, but felt the pull too long. You left without a heartbreak, but still became my key. You never knew what you meant to me, and now you never will. Softly, you never knew what you meant to me, and maybe that's my fault. I held my love like lightning, afraid of the result. You smiled like I was background while you were my marquee. You never knew what you meant to me, and now you never will. Softly. You didn't ask me to be different, but you folded me like sheets. Taught me how to say I'm fine when I really meant retreat. You didn't force me to forget, but you kept rearranging truth. You said maybe wear your hair down like it might soften all my roots. I let you paint my silence in your favorite shade of blue. I didn't feel the shifting till I barely knew what's true. You try to change me gently, like weather changes stone. Smooth my edges slowly till they didn't feel like home. You said it was for love, but I loved me too. You tried to change me gently, and I didn't know what to do. You'd fix the way I phrase things, like grammar made it kind. I stopped using certain words that you left behind. You didn't raise your voice, but you lowered all my own, till I whispered things in lowercase and called that being grown. I thought I was becoming a softer kind of bride, but you were changing shadows, not teaching me the light. You try to change me gently, and I let you paint my sky with colors that erased me and called it getting by. I miss the parts I muted to keep your love in view. You try to change me gently, but I was never built for you. Your side of the bed stopped creaking months ago. The pillow still remembers, but not the shape you'd show. I light one candle nightly instead of setting two, and I hum the song we hated like it somehow carries you. I thought I'd never manage to breathe without your name, but the stillness slowly teaches that healing isn't shame. I'm learning to sleep alone without waiting for your sound. The silence isn't cruel now, it's just a softer ground. The room still feels too quiet, but it's starting to feel mine. I'm learning to sleep alone and wake up just fine. rest inside the moment and let the silence leak. This isn't moving on fast, it's just learning how to be with all the pieces broken, but none that still need we. I'm learning to sleep alone, not in sorrow or pretend, just with gentle little rituals that don't need to defend. You were once my rhythm, but I found a calmer tone. I'm learning to sleep alone and still feel like my You left, but not just me. You left a version too. The one who stayed up waiting, the one who stitched your shoe. She still stands by the window, still folds your favorite shirt, still wonders if she said too much or just avoided hurt. She doesn't know the breakup, she only knows the bend, where things begin unraveling, but no one says it ends. You left me, yes, that's true, but you also left her behind. The girl who shaped yourself just to make your puzzle rhyme. She lingers in the hallway, still hopeful, still confined. You didn't just leave me, you left the me you redefined. She checks the phone each evening, like routine might bring you back. She cooks the meals you hated, still serves them with a laugh. I pass her in the mirror, sometimes I still wear her skin, but I've started to outgrow her, and that's how healing begins. I want to hold her gently and say he's not your end, but she only speaks in silence that doesn't quite defend. You left the version I became to make your comfort home, but I've swept her out in kindness and let her weep alone. She was loyal past the warnings, she was soft when you declined. You left more than just a partner, you left the me you once designed. There's dust on every octave, the bench still bears the dent, where your legs once dangled softly and your fingers came and went. The lid is slightly tilted, like it's listening for you, but every key I press just echoes something through. You said it calmed the silence, made you feel less small, but now the silence fills it like it never played at all. It's the piano nobody plays, but it still remembers sound. Each note like a phantom, still dancing all around. I sit but I don't touch it, afraid of what might the page you always missed. Your favorite song unfinished, still stuck on the final twist. I hear you in the stillness, in the bench that softly creaks. The room you used to fill, now only memory speaks. Some say music lives forever, but it needs a heart to find. And yours was always playing, even when you fell behind. It's the piano nobody plays, but it still feels like home. The chords are wearing silence, like they've learned to live alone. I reach out when I'm lonely, but never press too hard. It's the piano nobody plays, that still holds every part. I didn't know I needed rest until I met your gaze. The way you poured the morning felt like fireplace and haze. Your couch had crooked cushions and your mugs all chipped in two, but I never felt more settled than when I was with you. You didn't light the candles or sweep the wooden floor, but you gave me quiet safety without asking for more. You felt like home, like socks that fit just right, like coffee when it's raining, like a porch light in the night. No fancy frames or polish, just honesty and tone. I never had to try with you. You felt like home. We didn't talk in poetry or dance beneath the stars, but we sat and shared the silence like well-worn trusted scars. You listened without fixing and spoke in thoughtful threads, and somehow all my chaos fit beside your stead. It wasn't full of drama or novels to condone, just soft and slowly blooming, like the creeks within your home. You felt like home, no need to prove a thing. coffee slowly, didn't look me in the eye. We sat in matching silence while the toast went cold and dry. You asked about my weekend and I asked about your sleep, like strangers playing lovers with no promises to keep. The clock felt louder than usual, ticking past the ache, and both of us were holding what we knew was bound to break. This was the last morning together, though we never said it out. We smiled at cracked routines while drowning out the doubt. You kissed me like a stranger, like the final scene of weather. We said nothing clear, but this was our last morning together. The sink had two chipped dishes and I watched you dry them slow, like you were folding moments that you'd never want to show. Your phone lit up with messages that I didn't need to read, and you left your sweater hanging like a ghost without a need. It wasn't loud or broken, just the softest final tether. No fight, no final line, just the last morning together. This was the last morning together, and we both let it pass. You held the door like always, but didn't look back. Some endings need no thunder, just the wind and empty weather. We both let go in silence that last morning together. You said you loved the way I spoke, but never heard me through. You smiled like a habit when I told the truth to you. You held me like a concept, not a person full of need. And every plan we made was just a seed you'd never feed. You showed up for the moments, but never stayed for more. You touched without connecting, like footsteps near a door. You were never really here, just close enough to fake. You left before I noticed how much of you was fake. I called it something solid, but it melted in the clear. You were almost everything, but you were never really here. You whispered dreams at midnight, but forgot them by the dawn. I kept building us in silence while you already moved on. I saw your face online today. You look like someone new. Different hair, a different smile, but still the shape I knew. You're living in a city I've never learned to spell, with friends I'll never meet and stories you won't tell. We didn't have a funeral or flowers left to rot. You're still alive and breathing, but somehow I forgot. You're still alive but gone, a ghost with beating heart, not faded into darkness, just living worlds apart. I miss you without morning, though nothing really died. You're still alive, but nowhere on my side. Your birthday passed in silence, though I used to bake the cake. Now I scroll by your existence like it's someone else's stake. No anger in my chest now, no letters left to send, just strange persistent echoes that never seem to end. You weren't taken from me, not by time or fate or flame. You just slipped into another life that doesn't share my name. You're still alive but missing in ways I can't explain. We were close as breaths once, now I'm locked outside the frame. You live inside a story that I'll never be drawn. You're still alive, but long, long gone. Started using bigger words and walking past the park. You stayed up past the hour when we used to lose the dark. You traded jeans for silence and I still wore your band tee. You outgrew me in soft inches I just didn't want to see. No shouting, no divide, just new roots and different soil. And I watered what we had while you let it uncoil. You outgrew me gently, like shoes that stop fitting. Not a tear, just a space that you kept omitting. I stayed in all the versions you politely walked around. You outgrew me gently, without a single sound. You started skipping Thursdays where we once met to eat. You used to ask my stories, now you just retreat. I held on like a notebook you no longer like to read. And you smiled like I mattered, but not in ways I'd need. And maybe it was kindness, or maybe just delay, but I changed the sheets again today and threw your hoodie out. The incense near the windows to drown the way you shout. But you're still in the mirror, in the drawer, in every song. No matter how I rearrange, you've been here all along. You're not in my contacts or saved in any phone, but somewhere in my heartbeat, you won't leave me alone. It won't leave me alone. This ghost I didn't choose. It lingers in my morning and hums in every bruise. I try to clear the echoes, but still you find your tone. I gave you up completely, but it won't leave me alone. I walk new streets with strangers, smile at things I used to fear, but somehow you keep showing even when I'm not near. You lived in such small details that now they live in me, in coffee spoons and jacket sleeves and dreams I can't unsee. I wish I could forget you the way I lost my keys, but you grew roots beneath me like ivy through the leaves. It won't leave me alone. This whisper of your name, it flickers in the doorway and hides beneath my shame. I lit 1,000 candles, but you stay in every tone. I let you go completely, but it won't leave me There's a version of me on the porch, wearing sweaters I outgrew, sitting cross-legged in silence, like they still believe it's true. They don't know what's coming, the years I almost broke, and I can't bring myself to give them that smoke. But they knock on my thoughts like wind on old glass and asked, are we okay? Like I didn't let that pass. Talking to me through the window, two timelines face to face, one built from hopes and notebooks, one scarred but full of grace. I wanna tell them everything, but they wouldn't understand, so I just press my palm to glass and let them see I stand. They're still waiting for the letter that never comes in time. They still think they can fix it with a joke or clever rhyme. I wanna say you'll cry a lot, you'll lose and then you'll gain, but mostly I just whisper it's okay to feel that pain. We stare for half a moment like dreams we never wrote. They smile into